Get it, boys? Testing 1, 2.
Cold here. I think we've lost our director and power. This is freezing.
A ship is waiting for us at the dock.
Can't stay. I'll freeze to death.
To be stopped. We must stop communism in that land. Our freedom will start slipping through our hands. I hope and pray someday the world will learn that fires we don't put out will bigger burn. We must save freedom now at any cost, or someday our own freedom will be lost. Kiss me goodbye and write me while I'm gone.
Did I win the raffle?
Goodbye, my sweetheart. Hello,
Cold here. Got you to the size.
When you found somebody new, I thought I never would forget you, for I thought I never could.
Insta-kill!
Time has taken
That sure rained on your parade.
away. Until now, I'm down to hurt
This is freezing.
once a day, all day long, and once a
You started it!
from dusk till dawn. The only time I wish you weren't gone.
I'm only defending myself.
Once a day, every day.
I'm only defending myself.
long.
I'm nobody's sandwich. wrong face.
She lost the one
Now he's really mad.
she lost her mind. She sat around
Can't stay.
and
I'll
cried
come over
her
and
life
freeze to death.
away. Lucky me, I'm only crying once a day. Once a day.
Oh, that's better. We can finally see.
And once a
And I like it better when I couldn't.
from dusk till dawn. Only time I wish you weren't gone is once a day, every day, all day long.
You started it.
Once a day, every day, all day long.
Come on now, George. It's okay.
This is a dream come true.
Our
That's a
little
good
boy
Georgie.
is
Need to bite
4
anyone now.
years old and quite a little man. So we spell out the words we don't want
So, did we win?
to understand. Like
Is this even helping?
Maybe
Face, wrong face.
We're
Man
hiding
and
from
death
him.
machine.
Tear the heart right out of me. Our D-I-V-O
Now maybe I can afford some decent weapons.
become final today. Me and little J.O.E. will be going away.
Good riddance!
I love you both, and this will be pure H-E-double-L for me. Oh, I wish that we could stop this D-I-V-O-R-C-E. Watch him smile, he thinks it's Christmas or his 5th birthday. And he thinks C-U-S-T-O-G-Y spells fun or play. I spell out all the hurt words and turn my head when I speak. 'Cause I can't well away this hurt that's dripping down my cheek.
Who did that?
Our
Who did that? Was that us?
becomes final today. Me and little J.O.E. will be going away. I love you both, and this will be pure H-E-double-L for me. Oh, I wish that we could stop this
This is freezing. Is this even helping?
Shines bright on my old Kentucky home. It's summer and everyone's gay. The corn tops ripe and the meadows are in bloom. While the birds, they make music all day. The young folks roll on the little cabin floor, all merry, all happy and bright. By and by, hard times come a knocking at the door in my old Kentucky home. Good night. We no more, my
Remember me? I know how to slash.
The day goes by like a shadow o'er the horse, with sorrow where all was delight. The time has come when the loved ones have to part in my old Kentucky home. Good night. Weep no more, my
Did I win the raffle?
lady. Oh, weep no more today. We will sing one song for my old Kentucky
Can't stay
home.
here. I'll
My old
freeze to
Kentucky
death.
home far away.
Is this even helping?
Can't stay here. I'll freeze to death. Good riddance!
Some old friends on the street. They wonder how does a man get to be this way? I've always got a smiling face, anytime and any place. And every time they ask me why, I just smile and say,
It's over. It's
you've got to
finally over.
kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone. Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home.
You are now.
Well, people may try to guess the secret of a happiness, but some of them never learn it's a simple
This
thing.
is freezing.
The secret I'm speaking of is a woman and a man in love. And the answer is in this song that I always sing. You've got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when you're gone.
I got kind of lucky with that.
Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home.
Cold here.
Kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about her when
Foggy.
you're gone.
Why am I surprised?
Kiss an angel good morning and love her like the devil when you get back home.
Going somewhere, George?
This is freezing.
Out in the West Texas town of El Paso, I fell in love
Is this
with a
even
Mexican
helping?
girl. Nighttime would find me in Rose's cantina. Music would play and Felina would whirl.
Can't stay here. I'll freeze to
Blacker
death.
than night were the eyes of Felina, wicked and evil while
See that?
casting a
You
spell.
wish you saw that.
My love was deep for this Mexican maiden. I was in love, but in vain I could tell. One night a wild young cowboy came in, wild as the West Texas wind. Dancing and daring
I'll
a drink he was
freeze to
sharing
death.
with wicked Felina, the girl that I love. So in anger I challenged his right for the love of this maiden. Down went his hand for the gun that he wore. My challenge was answered in less than a heartbeat. The handsome young stranger lay dead on the floor. Out through the back door of Roses I ran, out where the horses were tied. I caught a good one, it looked like it could run. Up on its back and away I did ride, just as fast as I could from the West Texas town of El Paso out to the badlands of New Mexico. Back in El Paso, my life would be worse.
thought it was fun to gang up on a little guy,
Everything's
huh?
gone in life, nothing is left. It's been so long since I've seen the young maid. My love is stronger than my fear of death.
My ammo situation is less than ideal. In fact,
I saddled up and away I did go, riding alone in the dark. Maybe tomorrow a bullet may find me. Tonight nothing's worse than this pain in my heart. And at last here I am on the hill overlooking El Paso.
oh, nobody says zombie.
Below. My love is strong and it pushes me onward. Down off the hills to Felina I go.
Is there an ammo store around here?
Off to my right I see 5 mounted cowboys. Off to my left, right, a dozen and more. Shouting and shooting, I can't let them
Zombies.
catch me. I have
Think
to make
again.
it to Rose's back door.
Is this even helping?
Something is dreadfully wrong, for I feel a deep burning pain in my soul.
In your dreams, brain watcher.
Though I am trying to stay in the saddle, I'm getting weary, unable to ride. But my love for Felina is strong, and I
Mr.
rise
Nice
where I
Guy.
fall. Though I am weary, I can't
Good
stop to
riddance.
rest. I see the white puff of smoke from the rifle. I feel the bullet go deep in my chest. From out of nowhere, Felina has found me, kissing my cheek as she kneels by my side.
I'll rip out your heart.
Cradled by 2 loving arms that I died for. One little kiss and Felina.
Definitely worth more to stay.
On a cold, dark night, there was someone beneath the town hall light. There were few at the scene, but they all agreed that the slayer who ran looked a lot like me. The judge said, son, what is your alibi? If you were somewhere else, then you won't have to die. I spoke not a word, though it made my life, for I had been in the arms of my best friend's wife. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody knows but me. The sky flows high and eternity near. She stood in the crowd and shed not a tear. But sometimes at night, when the cold wind moans in a long black veil, she cries o'er my bones. She walks these hills in a long black veil. She visits my grave when the night winds wail. Nobody knows, nobody sees,
meet you there. I know how late you'll be coming home, but guess who doesn't care? Tonight I'll step out too, and since I won't be here, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. My best wishes may be early, but I'm not sticking around to bake a cake for your birthday while you're out running around. She can help you celebrate. May she bring you lots of cheer. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Now I've made my mind up, played seconds long enough. You think I don't mean it, so you're gonna call my bluff. But I'll be busy packing while you're holding her near. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. My best wishes may be early, but I'm not sticking around to bake a cake for your birthday while you're out running around. She can help you celebrate. May she bring you lots of cheer. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, and Happy, Happy New Year.
Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. You're all I got, take care of me. Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. You're all I've got, take care of me. I'm drowning in a whiskey river, bathing my memoried mind in the wetness of its soul, feeling the amber current flowing from my mind, and leaving a heart you left so cold. Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. You're all I got, take care of me. I'm drowning in a whiskey river, bathing my memoried mind in the wetness of its soul, feeling the amber current flowing from my mind, and leaving a heart you left so cold. Whiskey River, take my mind. Don't let her memory torture me. Whiskey River, don't run dry. You're all I got, take care of me. say I'm no good and crazy as a loon, 'cause I get stoned in the morning and I get drunk in the afternoon. Kinda like my old blue tick hound, I like to lay around in the shade. And I ain't got no money, but I damn sure got it made, 'cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone. Preacher man talking on TV, putting down the rock and roll, wants me to send a donation 'cause he's worried about my soul. He said Jesus walked on the water, and I know that it's true, but sometimes I think that preacher man would like to do a little walking too. But I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone. A poor girl wants to marry, and a rich girl wants to flirt. A rich man goes to college, and a poor man goes to work. A drunkard wants another drink of wine, and a politician wants to vote. I don't want much of nothing at all, but I will take another toke. But I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, you just leave this long-haired country boy alone.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old and older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama.
shotgun rider for the San Jacinto line. The desert is my brother, my skin is cracked and dry. I was riding on a folk coach, and everything was fine till we took a shorter road to save some time. Bandits only fired once, they shot me in the chest. They may have wounded me, but they'll never get the best of better men. 'Cause I'll ride again. I am a river gambler, I make a living dealing cards. My clothes are smooth and honest, my heart is cold and hard. I was shuffling for some Delta boys on a boat for New Orleans. I was the greatest shark they'd ever seen. But the captain bumped a sandbar and an ace fell from my sleeve. They threw me overboard and I swore I didn't cheat. But I could swim, and I'll ride again. We are heroes of the homeland, America's remains. We live in many faces and answer many names. We will not be forgotten, we won't be left behind. Our memories live on in mortal minds. And poets feel we'll ride again.
I am a Midwest farmer. I make a living off the land. I ride a John Deere tractor. I'm a liberated man. The rain, it hasn't fallen since the middle of July. And if it don't come soon, my crops will die. The bankman says he likes me, but there's nothing he can do. He tells me that he's coming, but the clouds are coming too. He ain't my friend, and I'll ride again.
I'm an American Indian, my tribe is Cherokee. My forefathers loved this land, they left it here for me. When the white man came with boats and trains and dirty factories, poisoned my existence with his deed. Nature is our mother, we are sucklings at her breast. He who tries to beat her down will lose her to the rest. They'll never win. I'll ride again. We are heroes of the homeland, Americans remain. We live in many faces and answer many names. We will not be forgotten, we won't be left behind. Our memories live on in mortal minds. And poets been, we'll ride again.
Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time.
When it's over, so I say, it'll rain someday. I know, shining down like water. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I
yesterday and days before. The sun is cold, the rain is hard, and I know it's been that way for all my time.
Till forever on through the circle, fast and slow. I know it can't stop. I wonder. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down a sunny day? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down a sunny day? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down a sunny day? Coming down a sunny day. Coming down a sunny day.
From cotton to satin, from Birmingham to Manhattan, from a pickup to a long limousine. From cotton to satin, from Birmingham to Manhattan, she had to follow her dream. I saved up enough to buy her one small dime. That's the year that old tractor broke down. And the dream house I promised her still lies by a shade tree. Some bricks and boards on the ground. She begged me to take her to see New York City. So I mortgaged the farm and we were gone. But while we were there, she took us
with a rich man. I came back to the country alone. Now there's the garden where she tucked every flower. There's the meadow where we walk hand in hand. If she only had waited, she'd have more than she dreamed of. For today, they struck oil on my land. She went from cotton to satin, from Birmingham to Manhattan, from a pickup to a lonely limousine. From cotton to satin, from Birmingham to Manhattan, she had to follow her dream. She went from cotton to satin.
Stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the streets, the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind. Shatter. You're just a step on the boss man's ladder, but you got dreams he'll never take away. In the same boat with a lot of your friends, waiting for the day your ship will come in and the tide's gonna turn and it's all gonna roll your way. Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and you never get the credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, yeah, they got you where they want you. There's a better life, and you think about it, don't you? It's a rich man's game, no matter what they call it. And you spend your life putting money in his wallet. 9 to 5, what a way to make a living. Barely getting by, it's all taking and no giving. They just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, yeah, they got you where they want you. There's a better life.
I was toting my pack along the dusty Winnemucca road when along came a semi with a high and canvas covered load. If you're going to Winnemucca Mac with me, you can ride. And so I climbed into the cab and then I settled down inside. He asked me if I'd seen a road with so much dust and sand, and I said, listen, I've traveled every road in this here land. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts bare, man. I breathed the mountain air, man. Travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Reno, Chicago, Fargo, Minnesota, Buffalo, Toronto, Winslow, Sarasota, Wichita, Tulsa, Ottawa, Oklahoma, Tampa, Panama, Mattawa, La Paloma, Bangor, Baltimore, Salvador, Amarillo, Tocopilla, Barranquilla, and Padilla. I'm a killer. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Travel, I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Boston, Charleston, Dayton, Louisiana, Washington, Houston, Kingston, Texarkana, Monterey, Faraday, Santa Fe, Tallapoosa, Glen Rock, Black Rock, Little Rock, Oskaloosa, Tennessee, Chicopee, Spirit Lake, Grand Lake, Devil's Lake, Crater Lake, Beach Lake. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Louisville, Nashville, Knoxville, Omaha, Baca, Shepardville, Jacksonville, Waterville, Costa Rica, Pittsfield, Springfield, Bakersfield, Shreveport, Hackensack, Cadillac, Fond du Lac, Davenport, Idaho, Jellicoe, Argentina, Diamantina, Pasadena, Catalina, see what I mean? I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Pittsburgh, Parkersburg, Gravelburg, Colorado, Ellensburg, Rexburg, Vicksburg, El Dorado, Larimore, Atmore, Haverstraw, Chattanooga, Chastity, Nebraska, Alaska, Opelika, Baraboo, Waterloo, Kalamazoo, Kansas City, Sioux City, Cedar City, Dodge City. What a pity. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. Across the deserts, bare, man. I breathe the mountain air, man. Of travel I've had my share, man. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere.
Here comes Ronnie Rock on. I drank 15 beers. That's a whole lot of brew in one night. When you're trying to drown the memory from your mind. It took the 15 beers to get here. I don't know how many more till I leave. Take my change in tears. Drink 15 beers and get it. Well, I rolled into Joe's about 6:15, and I was ready to pour 'em down. 'Cause at 8 o'clock, Delilah was meeting me there. Well, I thought I'd have 3 or 4 just to loosen up, 'cause we were really gonna swing tonight. I could already see her face, cause her long red hair. Well, at 9:35 I thought, man alive, what could be a holding her up? Just then a man in a long black Cadillac came in and told little Joe, never a while he was cleaning off the windows, I guess who he saw? The back laying soft as rain. It was Delilah, sipping on pink champagne. I drank 15 beers. That's a whole lot of blues for one man. When you're trying to drown the memory from your mind. It took the 15 beers some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have grown, I'll fly away. Like a bird from prison bars have flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away in the morning. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away, fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away, fly away.
Well, I said, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. Please don't take her love away from me. I'm begging you, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. She's everything in life I'll ever need. She is life when I wanna live. She's everything to me in life that life can give. She's my water when I need a drink. She's the first thought in my mind each time I try to think. Let me tell you now, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. Please don't take her love away from me. I'm begging you, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. She's everything in life I'm ever gonna need. She's my fingers when I want to feel. She is love. She's all the love I know. She could kiss the ground in the winter time and make a flower grow. Let me tell you now, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. Please don't take her love away from me. I'm begging you, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. She's everything in life I'm ever gonna need. Ever talking now, friend, but don't take her, she's all I've got. I'm begging to you, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. Yeah, I'm begging to you, friend, don't take her, she's all I've got. Hear me talking now, friend.
There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and a sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and strife, the sunny side we also may view. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Though the storms in its fury break today, crushing hopes that we cherish so dear. Storms and clouds, when time pass away, the sun again will shine bright and clear. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Let us grieve with a song of hope each day. Though the moments be cloudy or fair, let us trust in our Savior always, who will keep everyone in his care. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. If we keep on the sunny side of life.
All my bags are packed, ready to go. I'm standing here outside the door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, he's blown his horn. Already I'm so lonesome I could die. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me to go. There's so many times I let you down, so many times I played around. I tell you now, they don't mean a thing. Every place I go, I'll think of you. Every song I sing, I'll sing for you. When I come back, I'll bring your wedding ring. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go. Now the time's come to leave you. One more time, let me kiss you. Close your eyes, I'll be on my way. Dream about the days to come when I won't have to leave alone. About the times I won't have to say. Oh, kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go, but I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh babe, I hate to go.
we're glad they came along. We dedicate this song to all the girls we've loved before. To all the girls we've loved before. Who traveled in and out of the woods. We're glad they came along. We dedicate this song to all the girls we loved before.
Those memories of you still haunt me every night when I lay down. I'll always love you, little darling, until the day they lay me down. In dreams of you, my body trembles. I wake up and call your name, but you're not there, and I'm so lonesome without your love.
That was the close one. That would have been really annoying to have electric fucking zombies everywhere.
Those memories of you still haunt me every night when I lay down. I'll always love you, little darling, until the day they lay me down. I close my
don't care about what I think.
I think I'll just stay here and drink.
Hey, putting you down don't square no deal. At least you know the way I feel. Take all the
1,800.
money in the
Or no, wait, sorry. How much is this? 80,000. I have 120,000. No worries, bro. No worries. I can spare it. A little cash.
Listen close and you can hear.
I can't afford it, bro. I'm only shooting them with the M14 all the time.
Playing in my ear. Ain't a woman won't change the way I think. I think I'll just stay here and drink.
Don't be in plain sight. What do I have next? The one that makes you do stuff faster. Okay. I'll just have to remember to get rid of it at the end of this round.
Hurting me now don't mean a thing. Since love ain't here, don't feel no pain. My mind ain't nothing but a total blank. I think I'll just stay here and drink.
No, like, that was a waste of points, a waste of points. I spent 250 more than I needed.
So if that's the way you've wanted me to be, I'll change if it takes that to make you happy. From now on we're gonna see a different me.
Might be the end.
Because you're good, girl, they're gonna go bad. I'm gonna be the swingin'est swinger you've ever had. If you like 'em painted up, powdered up, then you ought to be glad. Cause you're good, girl, they're gonna go bad. I'll even learn to like the taste of whiskey. In fact, you'll hardly recognize your wife. I'll buy some brand new clothes and dress up fancy for my journey to the wilder side of life. Because you're good, girl, they're gonna go bad. I'm gonna be the swingin'est swinger you've ever had. If you like 'em painted up,
Oh no, here comes George. What am I gonna do?
then you ought to be glad.
Very hard
'Cause
boss.
you're good, girl, they're gonna go bad. Oh yeah, you're good, girl, they're gonna go bad. I've got your picture that you gave to me, and it's signed with love, just like it used to be. The only thing different, the only thing new, I've got your picture, she's got you. I've got the records that we used to share, and they still sound the same as when you were here. The only thing different, the only thing new, I've got the records, she's got you. I've got your memory,
Fastest round ever.
or has it got me? I really don't know, but I know it won't let me be. I've got your class ring that proved you cared, and it still looks the same
That was
when you
insanely
gave
fast.
it, dear. The only thing different, the only thing new, I've got these little things, she's got you. I've got your memory, or has it got me? I really don't know, but I know it won't let me be. I've got your class ring that proved you cared, and it still looks the same
a little beer that evening, sang a little bit of these working man blues. Sometimes I think about leaving, they're a little bummed around. Throw my bills out the window, catch me a train to another town, go back working. I got to buy my kids a brand new pair of shoes. I drink my beer at a tavern and cry a little bit of these man blues. Here comes working man. Well, hey, the working man like me. Never been on welfare, and that's one place he will not be. He'd be working just as long as his two hands are fed to use. Might drink a little beer at a tavern, sing a little bit of them working man blues. This song is working man. Each night I leave the barroom when it's over, not feeling any pain at closing time. But tonight your memory found me much too sober. Couldn't drink enough to keep you off my mind. Tonight the bottle let me down, and let your memory come around. The one true friend I thought I'd found. Tonight the bottle let me down. I've always had a bottle I could turn to, and lately I've been turning every day. But the wine don't take effect the way it used to. I'm hurting in an old
Damn, it's fucking hot, man.
way.
God damn. Oh, too hot.
Tonight the bottle let me down, and let your memory come around. The one true friend I thought I'd found.
Jeez, it's hot.
Tonight
Check my computer's temperature.
the bottle let me down. Tonight the bottle let me down.
272, that's not bad.
He lived by the apple orchard in this old orchard shack. His real name was Jackson Taylor. I called
Oh,
him
hello there. my window and it instantly already dropped like 5 degrees. I can feel.
Applejack, play a song for me, and I'll sing. Play a song for me, Applejack, Applejack, play a song, let your banjo ring. Now I'd go down to Applejack's almost every day. We'd sit and we'd drink Applejack that old Applejack had made. Then he'd take his banjo down, then he'd ask me if I'd sing, and he would play the banjo
I say goodnight, I've got a promise to fulfill. Thank you for listening to my troubles. Pardon me, I've got someone to kill. I warned him not to try and take her from me. He laughed and said, if I can, you know I will. So tonight, when they get home, I'll be waiting.
Over here, zombies.
I've got someone to kill. I know I'll surely die for what I'm about to do. But it don't matter, I'm a dead man anyhow. This gun will buy back the pride they took from me, and also in this life of mine that's worthless now. By the time you tell the sheriff, it'll all be over. He'll find me at their big house on the hill. He'll find a note explaining why I killed us all. Now it's time to go. I've got someone to kill. Hello, walls. Hot things go for you today. Don't you miss her? Since she up and walked away, and I'll bet you dread to spend another lonely night with me. Only walls, I'll keep you company. Hello, Wendell. Well, I see that you're still here. Aren't you lonely? Since our darling disappeared. Well, look, here is that a teardrop in the corner of your pain. Now don't you try to tell me that it's rain. She went away and left us all alone the way she planned. Guess we'll have to learn to get along without her if we can. Hello, ceiling. I'm gonna stare at you a while. You know I can't sleep. So won't you bear with me a while? We must all stick together, or else I'll lose my mind. I've got a feeling she'll be gone alone
sing a song to cowboy as a smoky halo circle round her raven head. And all the fallen angels, pinballs playing round her, stop the games that they'd been playing for the loser's evening prayer. Faded love, faded memories, how they linger in her mind. Miles and years played the cowboy like an old melody, out of tune and out of time. Every night in the shadows, thinking back on Amarillo, he'd dream of better days and ask for faded love. Lifting high his glass in honor of the lady and the song. He paid his check and lonely walked that broken cowboy home. She played tambourine with a silver jingle, and she must have known the words to at least 1,000,000 too. But the one most requested by the man she knew as cowboy was a late night benediction at the Y'all Come Back So
Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. A woman done left, took all the reason I was working for. You better not try to stand in my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. I've been working in this factory for now 15 years. All this time I watched my woman drowning in the pool of tears. And I've seen a lot of good folk die, had a lot of bills to pay. I'd give the shirt right off of my back if I had the guts to say, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. My woman done left and took all the reason I was working for. You better not try to stand in my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. That foreman, he's a really dog. The line boss, he's a fool. Got a brand new flat top haircut. Lord thinks he's cool. One of these days I'm gonna blow my top, and that sucker, he's gonna pay. Lord, I can't wait to see their faces when I get the nerve to say, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. A woman done left and took all the reason I was working for. You better not try to stand in my way as I'm walking out the door. Take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Take this job and shove it. Take it with making whiskey. Take it stop stomping grapes. It wasn't for fools like me with hearts that break. They could close all the brewery, and they could lock up the bar. If it wasn't for women like you, who leaves loving scars. And I can't quit drinking. Lord knows I've tried. I'm gonna wear this whiskey glass there till my memories go blind. I can't quit drinking, and it'll kill me, they say. And if heaven's sweet shores have swinging doors, I'll find someday. You know, I thought it all over, and I still don't understand. Millions of women, how could one mean so much to a man? A woman and whiskey, there's so much alike. But just when you need 'em the most, you're left high and dry. And I can't quit drinking. Lord knows I've tried. So I'm gonna wear this whiskey glass there till my memories go blind.
and it'll kill me, they say. And if heaven's sweet shore have swinging doors, I'll find you someday. Yes, if heaven's sweet shore have swinging doors, I'll find you someday.
But I've been through some bad times, been on the bottom, been at the top. And I've seen life from both sides. It's what you make with what you've got. There's been times life's got me down, pick myself up and bounce right back around. I wasn't raised to give up. And to this day, you know what? I'm still woman enough, still got what it takes inside. I know how to love, lose and survive. Ain't much I ain't seen, I ain't tried. Been knocked down but never out of the fight. I'm strong but I'm tender, wise but I'm tough. And let me tell you, when it comes to love, I'm still woman enough. Raised in Oklahoma, hey, I'm country proud to say. I've seen a lot of changes, oh, but I ain't never changed. Well, this here girl's been there and done that. They call me hillbilly, but I got the last laugh. Standing here today, proving in every way I'm still woman enough, still got what it takes inside. I know how to love, lose and survive. Ain't much I ain't seen, I ain't tried. I've been knocked down but never out of the fight. I'm strong but I'm tender, wise but I'm tough. And let me tell you, when it comes to love, I'm still woman enough. The years may come and go, but for me it's just time. 'Cause without a doubt I know it ain't your age, it's a state of mind. I'm still woman enough, still got what it takes inside. I know how to love, lose and survive. Ain't much I ain't seen, I ain't tried. I've been knocked down but never out of the fight. I'm strong but I'm tender, wise but I'm tough. And let me tell you, when it comes to love, I'm still woman enough, still woman enough. I'm still woman enough, still woman enough. I'm still woman enough, still woman enough. I'm still woman enough. Oh, still woman enough, still woman enough. I'm still woman enough. I don't want your lonely mansion with a tear in every room. All I want is love you promised beneath the halo moon. But you think I should be happy with your money and your name, and hide myself in sorrow while you play your cheating game. Silver threads and golden needles cannot mend this heart of mine, and I dare not drown my sorrow in the warm glow of your wine. We
Where'd those shots go?
Crazy.
Did it again.
I'm
Fuck.
crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worry, why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world did I do? Oh, crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you.
On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, we met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness. The boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces, knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle, and he drank down my last swallow. Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. Said, "If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done." Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving is knowing what to throw away, knowing what to keep. 'Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser, and the best that you can hope for is to die in your sleep. And when he finished speaking, he turned back toward the window, crushed out his cigarette, faded off to sleep. And somewhere in the darkness, the gambler, he broke even. In his
You wanna watch for
final
2 minutes?
words, I found an
Look how
ace
fun
that
this
I
is. It's
keep.
so fun.
You got to know when to
First
hold
room
up,
still. Okay, so
know
here's
when to
a little
fold up,
idea idea of how long this is. So rounds 1 to 30 in the first round took me about 50 minutes, 55 minutes. I'm now 2 hours and 15 minutes in, and I'm only on round 38. So 30 rounds took less time at the beginning of the game than going. Yeah. Here, look how fun it is. Watch.
You never count your money. When you're sitting at the
It's so
table,
fun.
there'll be time enough for counting.
Why aren't they dying?
When the dealing's done,
Shooting them.
you gotta know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting. When the deal is done.
Already, you're supposed to see the most exciting part of the strat. Need it, need it,
Well, you thought I'd be
back
waiting
shooting.
up when you come home last night.
Oh, I killed one. Oh, I got
it.
one.
And you ended up half-tied. But a liquor
Go
and
grenades,
love
go.
just don't mix, leave the bottle or me behind.
I make ballers.
And don't come home and drink it.
I have a perk that makes it so I don't. I wouldn't be throwing fucking grenades like that.
No,
But
don't come home
I can.
and drink
There's like a strat.
loving
Oh, this might be in
on
the
your
other round.
mind.
There's one.
Just stay out there on the town and see what you can find. Because if you want that kind of love, then you don't need none
There's a
of
strat
mine.
you can use to
So
when you throw your grenades and don't get hit by them. You like make the zombies farther away and then you sprint, and then you throw them at the ground like where you predict the zombies are gonna run to, and then you like have to.
You never take me anywhere because you're always gone. As many a night I've laid awake.
If you fuck it up like a little bit because you don't have anything to save yourself, pretty much, you have almost nothing to save yourself. You have to like play like really well. Alright, ammo, go, go. Ammo!
Just stay out there on the town and see what you can find. Because if you want that kind of love, then you don't need none of mine.
Run away, run away!
So don't come home and drink with nothing on your mind.
Yeah, and in the time it takes to do this, I like can do something safely. Like, there's no reason not to do it like this. Like, it's not a speed run. It's a marathon of like how you safely you can spam the M4. So I have 3 guns. I have the 1911, which is the weakest gun on the whole map, and I just use it to run around because when you run with pistols, you run faster. And then I have the M14, which is the main spamming gun because it's the best gun in the first round. And then I have the shotgun, which I just spam when I'm out of ammo with the M14 as I'm running to grab my ammo. Anyway. Oh, it's the kill! That's so cheeky! Cheeky of you to go. Yeah, there's a timer for it when it's like this, and then when you grab it, it refreshes. So obviously I'm gonna wait till the last possible second to grab it. I just have a few George. This makes it take so much less time to get it done like this. So I pretty much want to do this as efficiently as possible. Oh, what's that? Oh, this round is going to take much less time. And that was like really lucky. Double points. See that over there? Except the zombies are like not. They're dying somewhere from the Oh, double points. Oh shit. Here's the hardest part. Getting the horde up like this. This is literally the hardest part. And then Yeah, you basically do it once around, because once you 4 them up one time, your gun only kills them slowly and they only die one at a time. Like, you get a random headshot and it kills them because you finally wore down their health. So only one more runs over, so you don't have to get any more bullets. You just have to make sure you don't run into that one gun. Hang on, let me set up this space. Look how I spam too. Oh.
You were like just at the spawn point, like it's kind of like cooking. Like you have to like really watch like multiple pots and pans at once. Like you're always aware of everything that's around you. You gotta make sure not to spend too much time on one thing, right?
Kind of. I mean, I'm treating it like a speed run, kind of, but it's like it doesn't matter. Like, you basically just want to you run around with the M14 like this, and you set it up so you can just spam them in the head really quickly. And then when you run out of ammo, I'm about to do right now. Yeah, I'm out of ammo, and then I swap to this. I shoot them for 2 seconds while I train them, and then I quickly go get more ammo. Yeah, it's so easy. It's literally easy when you get to this round because you kill them so slowly that you never have to hoard them up, and hoarding them up is the most dangerous part. Also, since I have a ton of grenades right now, I can spam grenades.
So, like, at this point in the game, like, you are just boosting off this.
Hang on, I have to make sure I didn't get them. Those will 100% just can't even see.
Oh, it's just like this actually, like, I can see, like, of course, it's still very challenging, but it's just like
this is not challenging at all. This is so easy. Some of the best players in the world can probably get to like 60. I mean, I can probably maybe make it to 50. But if I go to 50, it'll take me like 5 hours.
Like, that was the entire round.
Oh, okay, but I got lucky. I got a death machine and I got an insta-kill, which I can use to kill them really quickly. If you get fucked and you get like no drops, or you get like bad drops, like let's say you get like a double points, which doesn't do you any good, or you get like a max ammo, you can use the max ammo to save like a minute of shooting, but that's not that much time. Getting an insta-kill or a death machine will save you probably like 5 to 10 minutes of shooting, which shaves off a significant portion of time. So if you can get an insta-kill and use all the insta-kill and a death machine and use all the death machine, that's really good because you save like 20 minutes.
Also, like, this was just a very lucky round.
Last round was, this round is not, unless I get good drops again. This round is gonna take a fucking long time. Oh shit. Zombie coming. If there's a zombie when I go to run it by ammo, I just
Okay. Wow.
rinse and repeat. Right now, yeah. I can shut my mic off though.
No. Because like I'm wondering, like, if you're watching it, like, if you're just hearing you explain really like basic shit, like, or you're getting the context of me asking that question.
Yeah, definitely.
Many Christian children have gone on before, and I
Hang
can't
on, if they're spawning in
feel
like
at
this, I just
home in this world anymore.
Ugh.
I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore.
Alright, back to shooting the M14. Oh my god, what am I gonna do? I ran out of ammo. Wait, the guns are here. That's the best gun you can use. Unless you get a death machine, then that's the best one you can get. But even the death machine doesn't kill them. Like, if you get to like 50, like 55, like the death machine will get you killed. Because it doesn't kill them and you run really fucking slow. Look how many kills I've gotten too. Almost 3,000.
I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do?
know, just like how
You should see some of the montages people make.
it makes me think of like when your father's holding by hand and like going through the marker and you're going across like a piece of paper. Hey, like, you know, holding closer.
I almost got stuck there.
Yeah, like when you're painting or when you're the paper just the way that you're killing the zombies is a very violent way.
I feel tears welling up, calling deep inside like
Violent
my
art?
heart's
You've
gonna
clearly never
break.
seen it.
And the stab of loneliness sharp and painful that I may never shake. You might say that I was taking it hard since you wrote me off with a call. But don't you wager that I'll hide the sorrow when I'm right down and bald. Now the race is on and here comes.
Now doing this type of thing is very specific to a first room. The only reason I'm doing this is because in a first room, this is the only way you can play. This round is going to take a long fucking time too, because their health is so high and I'm not getting any drops. And I have nothing to kill them.
Just by doing the same 5 steps really craft the session basically that scarf that I was wearing, how long did that take? It's just like, it's amazing how
One day I ventured in love, never once suspecting what the final result would be. How I lived in fear of waking up each morning and finding that you'd gone from me. There's aching and pain in my heart for the day was the one that I hated to face. Somebody new came up
Well, it
to
sucks
win
that I
her, and I came
turn
out in
forces
second
off,
place.
so when they die, they're supposed to like fill up the ground to a certain point, and it's like supposed to be like it's supposed to like look cool. It's like, oh, look how many zombies I killed. They're on the floor, but it makes the game look crash. So I should shut up. Like you see like one corpse on the floor right here. There will be nothing until that happens. Yeah, they just kind of disappear. Ammo, ammo.
you're knitting a scarf full of
A scarf of death.
Yeah, scarf of death.
I'm playing as Freddy Krueger right now, except that voice is turned off because he was getting really annoying.
You've been making your brags around town that you've been
Well, no, people will just say you're trained. That's what they would be like, oh, he's training in the first room.
in a garbage can, and that's what you look like to me, and what I see.
You want to hear the etymology of the word training? It's pretty fucked up. So, back in the day with shooters, in the multiplayer, so not in any zombies mode, but in the multiplayer people would like get into planes and they would just blow the hell out of where everyone was spawning and like not let them spawn in and kind of like not let them have fun. And people called it base raping, basically. Well, not base, that's what. And they would be like, oh, I'm getting base raped right now. And so back when the first COD came out, that term was still popular to use. And so when in zombies, sometimes you have to do a little bit. When people realized you could run the zombies around like this, they took that term and they didn't call it base rape, they called it rape training. And obviously that takes a long time to say, and it's kind of fucked up to say too. So that term fell out of popularity and now people just call it training. I can't think of a single person who I've ever actually heard it called rape training, other than if you watch like a 12-year-old video of people playing the first song. Yeah. So that's the etymology of the word. Oh, what's this? Insta? Oh shit.
Oh, okay. So you just want to get that.
Yep. This is fast. See how I just killed him instantly? That's what I'm called instant kill. Ooh, might be near the end. Oh, this is the end. Look at that. That was kind of... See how I got that at the very end, though? If I had gotten that earlier, I would have saved like 10 minutes of shooting.
Yeah, you just like...
Once I had a girl on a rocky top, had bear the other had
Genius.
wild as a mink, but sweet as soda pop. I still
That's
dream
the round.
about that.
Alright, sounds good.
Rocky top, you'll always be home sweet home to me.
8 or 9 rounds, that would take me like another 2 or 3 hours. You're gonna be cooking for 2 or 3 hours? So you know how I said to get from 1 to 30 took an hour? And then to get from 30 to 40, it took me 2.5 hours.
5 rounds. How's that? 4 or 5 rounds?
So to get to even like maybe 45, it'll take me another hour and a half.
How about the next 2 or 3 rounds?
Yeah, yeah. Here comes George, too. Yeah, it's gonna be so hard to kill him when I have the insta-kill thing.
Once two strangers climbed a rocky top, looking for a moonshine still. Strangers ain't come down from a rocky top, reckon they never will. Corn won't grow at all on rocky top, dirt's too rocky by far.
Oh, look at that.
Folks on rocky top get their corn from a jar. Rocky top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me.
I got a death machine, so this round might not take too. It'll only take 20 minutes instead of 35 minutes.
Rocky Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
Oh shit. Oh, I need.
I can't sell my mama short on loving me. I guess that's why she let me go so far. Mama tried to stop me short of stealing. I guess that's why I had to steal that car. She told me not to smoke it, but I did, and it took me far away. And I turned out to be the only hell my mama ever raised. Well, I rode into Atlanta, stolen tags and almost out of gas. I had to get some money. Lately I'd learned how to get it fast. Those neon lights was calling me, and somehow I just had to get downtown. Jesus, but I turned on to the devil's ways. And I turned out to be the only hell my mama ever raised. She tried to turn me on to Jesus, but I turned on to the devil's ways. And I turned out to be the only hell my mama ever raised. I'm tired of this dirty old city. Entirely too much work and never enough play. And I'm tired of these dirty old sidewalks. Think I'll walk off my steady job today. Turn me loose, set me free, somewhere in the middle of Montana. Give me all I've got coming to me, and keep your retirement and your so-called Social Security. Big city, turn me loose and set me free. Been working every day since I was 20. Haven't got a thing to show for anything I've done. There's folks who never work and they've got plenty. Think it's time some guys like me had some fun. So turn me loose, set me free, somewhere in the middle of Montana. And give me all I've got coming to me, and keep your retirement and your so-called Social Security. Big city, turn me loose and set me free. Hey, big city, turn me loose and set me free.
Well, I gotta get drunk, and I sure do dread it, 'cause I know just what I'm gonna do. I start to spend my money calling everybody honey and wind up singing the blues. I'll spend my whole paycheck on some old wreck. Brother, I can name you a few. Well, I gotta get drunk, and I sure do dread it, 'cause I know just what I'm gonna do. I gotta get drunk, I can't stay sober. There's a lot of good people in town that like to hear me holler, see me spend my dollars, and I wouldn't think of letting them down. There's a lot of doctors that tell me that I better start slowing it down. But there's more old drunks than they are old doctors, so I guess we better have another round. Well, now I gotta get drunk, and I sure do dread it, 'cause I know just what I'm gonna do. I start to spend my money calling everybody honey and wind up singing the blues. I'll spend my whole paycheck on some old wreck. Brother, I could name you a few. Well, I gotta get drunk, and I sure do dread it, 'cause I know just what I'm gonna do. Jimmy Day. get drunk, and I sure do dread it, cause I know just what I'm gonna do. I start to spend my money calling everybody honey and wind up singing the blues. I spend my whole paycheck on some old wreck. Brother, I could name you a few. Well, I gotta get drunk, and I sure do dread it, cause I know just what I'm gonna do.
Heartache number one
and smoke me when I die. And if anyone don't like it, just look 'em in the eye. I didn't come here and I ain't leaving, so don't sit around and cry. Just roll me up and smoke me when I die. Now you won't see no sad and teary eye when I get my wings and it's my time to fly.
Call my friends and tell them there's a party, come on by. Now just roll me up and smoke me when I die. Roll me up and smoke me when I die. And if anyone don't like it, just look them in the eye. I didn't come here and I ain't leaving, so don't sit around and cry. Just roll me up and smoke me when I die.
Been here long enough, so sing and tell more jokes and dance and stuff. Just keep the music playing, that'll be a good goodbye. Roll me up and smoke me when I die.
Roll me up and smoke me when I die. And if anyone don't like it, just look 'em in the eye. I didn't come here and I ain't leaving, so don't sit around and cry. Just roll me up and smoke me when I die.
Take me out and build a roaring fire. Roll me in the flames for about an hour. Then take me out and twist me up and point me toward the sky. Roll me up and smoke me when I die.
Roll me up and smoke me when I die. And if anyone don't like it, just look 'em in the eye. I didn't come here and I ain't leaving, so don't sit around and cry. Just roll me up and smoke me when I die. Just roll me up and smoke me when I die.
$5 worth of regular, $3 worth of wine. Just hand me a road map, show me the state line. I got the blues on my bumper, Lord, I gotta leave 'em behind. Yeah, I'm gonna drink and drive that woman right off of my mind. She bought a ticket for Texas, left me late last night. I got a ticket this morning for a DUI. $10. Here's my very last dime. I'm gonna take it and drink and drive that woman right off of my mind. Breaker, breaker, this is heartache. Now hear me loud and clear. I got a memory on my tailgate.
Almond Breeze Extra Creamy Almond Milk tastes creamy like dairy milk with 50% more calcium.
With new Cascade Platinum Plus, you can load this and get this.
A lot of people remember their first Star Trek episode or their first Star Trek movie, but I don't. For as long as I can remember, it's just been perpetually on TV in its various forms. I grew up watching the original series in The Next Generation, and later in my teens watched all of Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, and then kept up with the franchise through its more recent iterations. Star Trek helped me and helped me figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. It's a lot of things for a lot of different people. They all started with one. The concept for Star Trek was of course created by Gene Roddenberry. Born in El Paso, Texas in 1921, his father was a Los Angeles police officer. From an early age, Roddenberry was an avid reader of pulp magazines. He was an enormous fan of Edgar Rice Burroughs' John Parker of Mars, as well as the Skylark series by E.E. Smith. In his college years, he became interested in aeronautical engineering, which eventually led to him joining the US Army Air Corps, where he served during World War II. After the war and a brief career as a pilot for Pan American Airways, Roddenberry followed in his father's footsteps to become a Los Angeles police officer. All throughout his law enforcement career, however, he dreamt of becoming a writer, and he would later cite his experiences as a police officer as one of the major contributors to his most famous creation. While working in the police department's public information division, Roddenberry was brought in as a technical advisor on a new television version of Mr. District Attorney. It was from this role as an advisor, Roddenberry was able to land his first writing gig for the same show, under the pseudonym Robert Weasley. After successfully contributing scripts to Mr. District Attorney, as well as Highway Patrol, Roddenberry saw his chance to pursue his dream, and soon quit his job in the police department. Throughout most of the 50s, Roddenberry would write freelance, contributing to numerous westerns such as Have Gun Will Travel, as well as other cop and military-focused shows. It was during this time Roddenberry met actor DeForest Kelley, as well as actress Majel Lee Huddock, later known as Majel Barrett. At the start of the 60s, however, Roddenberry set his sights on creating, writing, and producing his own original TV show. The burgeoning idea for Star Trek first entered his mind at this time. He often talked with friends about the concept of a racially diverse crew in an airship exploring the world, inspired by Jules Verne's Master of the World. However, this idea wasn't fully formed, and instead Roddenberry went on to create The Lieutenant. The Lieutenant was a military drama following the lives of several personnel on a base with the backdrop of the unfolding Cold War. It was here Roddenberry also met future Star Trek producer Gene L. Kuhn, as well as actors Gary Lockwood, Leonard Nimoy, and Nichelle Nichols, who landed her first television role on The Lieutenant. It was a well-received show, but one which generated controversy behind the scenes when Roddenberry's goal of a progressive racial equality message clashed with the Department of Defense, which was supporting the show. These clashes eventually led to the department withdrawing its support entirely, and with a suddenly much more expensive series on their hands, MGM and NBC couldn't commission a second season. With his military drama off the air, Roddenberry revisited his original idea of a racially diverse crew on a mission of exploration. Rather than the Jules Verne aesthetic, he drew from the pulps he grew up reading, particularly Smith's Skylark series. For the overall look of the show, he took heavy inspiration from the landmark science fiction film Forbidden Planet, and for the captain of his ship, he drew from C.S. Forester's Horatio Hornblower novels to craft the character. By March 11, 1964, he had completed a 16-page pitch. On April 24th, he registered the new series with the Writers Guild of America. He titled this new show Star Trek. It's hard to imagine just how different the TV landscape was at the time. American TV was dominated with the westerns, thrillers, and dramas Roddenberry had cut his teeth on in the 50s. There was very little in the way of science fiction, at least of the type Roddenberry was envisioning. Across the pond in the UK, Doctor Who had only just begun airing its first few episodes. In the US, the space opera adventure serials of Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers had long since passed. Sci-fi of the time was embodied by high-concept morality plays like the seminal Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits, although they too were winding down by the mid-60s. In general, there really was nothing like what Roddenberry was proposing on TV at the time. While his pitch was well received at MGM, who had produced The Lieutenant, they didn't make him an offer. Roddenberry then took it to Desilu Productions, the company co-founded by actress, comedian, presenter, producer, and writer Lucille Ball. known for her hit sitcom I Love Lucy. Roddenberry took his pitch to head of programming Oscar Katz, and the two began pitching to the networks. Funnily enough, their first stop was CBS, however they were already developing their own sci-fi show Lost in Space at the time, and so they passed on Star Trek. Next, they took it to NBC. Allegedly during the meeting, Roddenberry struggled to convey his concept to the executives, and believed he was blowing. That is, until Oscar Katz leapt into the conversation and pitched Star Trek as a space western, downplaying the sci-fi elements. It was here the phrase "wagon train to the stars" was coined. Convinced by Katz's exciting-sounding pitch, NBC agreed to greenlight the pilot. With production at Desilu now underway, Roddenberry quickly set about assembling his team. He brought on Robert Justman, who was a producer on The Outer Limits at the time, and Herbert F. Solo joined the team from the board at Desilu. Hua Chang was also brought over from The Outer Limits to supervise much of the production design and creature effects work. For the music of the show, Roddenberry approached composer Jerry Goldsmith. However, due to other commitments he had at the time, he couldn't join the project. Instead, Goldsmith recommended Alexander Courage for the job. While mostly a music arranger at the time, Courage's work in creating the iconic Star Trek theme tune speaks for itself. His work lends Star Trek an epic, operatic feel, quite different from the atmospheric tones or bombastic cues of other shows at the time. For the cast, Roddenberry had written the role of Number 1 with Majel Barrett in mind, and so she was the first to be cast. With the role secured, it was Barrett who recommended Leonard Nimoy for the part of Spock. All three having had a good working relationship on The Lieutenant, Roddenberry and Nimoy were enthusiastic to collaborate on a new show. The character of James T. Kirk was yet to be created. Instead, Jeffrey Hunter was cast as Captain Christopher Pike, a name inspired by a character Roddenberry had created for the pilot The Wild Blue. The Cage, originally named The Menagerie, was a costly venture, with some accounts stating its price tag as over $600,000, more than 3 times what was normal for a TV episode at the time. Shooting began on November 27, 1964, and was completed by December 11th. After several weeks of post-production work, the very first episode of Star Trek was delivered to NBC. It's worth noting that for a franchise known for its sense of an optimistic future, The Cage is a much more somber and gritty story than today's Trekkies may expect. The Enterprise, rather than the flagship of a mighty fleet, is a well-worn vessel staffed by a skeleton crew. Captain Pike, rather than a heroic lead, begins the episode tired of command and the responsibilities that come with it. It's also worth noting how emotional Spock seems to be in this episode. The cultural concept of the Vulcans had not really fully materialized, and Nimoy, seeing the relatively low energy of Hunter's performance, sought to balance the dynamic by lending more humor, sarcasm, and even passion to his performance. Overall, The Cage is a fine sci-fi story with interesting themes and ideas. The Enterprise responds to a false distress call from a ship long thought lost. Pike is soon kidnapped by a race of powerful telepaths who destroyed their world in a long-forgotten war. In his prison, the aliens, who name themselves as Telosians, conjure telepathic visions to try and force him into a romantic relationship with the only survivor from the crashed ship, Vina, in the hopes their union will birth a slave race which could rebuild the Telosians' homeworld. It's well-worn stuff in today's Star Trek, but for the 60s, this was quite a taboo-busting story. Much discussion surrounds notions of sex and relationships, possibly threatening the legitimacy of the nuclear family of the time. Questions are raised as to if human behavior, despite its advancement, could still be manipulated like animals trained in a zoo. Jeffrey Hunter is a compelling lead in an Old West kind of way. While his dialogue is full of clever deductive reasoning and his characterization depicts him as a resourceful and cunning man, Hunter still embodies the gruff, haymaker-throwing, chisel-jawed hero seen in many other shows of the time. Susan Oliver as Vina gives a stellar performance. A character who's become completely trapped by the Telosians, attempting to enjoy the life she's been given, despite always knowing it isn't real. She has strong chemistry with Hunter and provides the emotional anchor for the audience. The rest of the cast isn't as well used, unfortunately. The character of Spock was yet to be fully conceived, and thus Leonard Nimoy's iconic screen presence doesn't quite appear in The Cage. Even Majel Barrett's Number 1, like pretty much everyone else, doesn't have much to do in this episode. The ending is also a little contrived. The usually powerful and near omniscient Telosians are quite easily subdued and captured by the end. Despite its problems, however, The Cage is a solid Star Trek story. The comparatively large budget allows for some terrific looking VFX, sets, and monsters. It features a lot of tragedy, but also a lot of fascinating concepts for the audience to ponder. While it isn't an all-time classic of Star Trek, it's still one worth several viewings from any avid Trekkie. The executives at NBC, however, weren't as impressed. It's easy to create the narrative that NBC simply weren't smart enough for this first pilot, but the truth isn't that simple. The executives were sold on a space western by the original pitch. This no doubt conjured images of saloon fisticuffs and quick-draw shootouts, but inside spaceships and brandishing ray guns. To be sold on this idea and then delivered a far more cerebral plot, which has our main hero in prison for most of the runtime, would be naturally disappointing. Further test screenings failed to convince NBC that Star Trek could work as a show, and so they decided not to pick up the series. However, in what is still a very rare occurrence for network TV, Star Trek was given another crack at the whip. This go-ahead for a second pilot came thanks to the co-founder of Desilu Productions itself. As mentioned before, Lucille Ball was a highly successful figure on TV at the time. During her career, she had often faced rampant sexism and was often pigeonholed into the kinds of roles she could play. Her sitcom I Love Lucy and other comedic work seems tame by today's standards, but at the time they were seen as boundary-pushing when it comes to the depiction of the loyal American housewife. Allegedly, while Ball didn't have much interest in the actual script, she was quite taken aback when she saw the first officer of the Enterprise was a female character. Recognizing the value of such a progressively minded show, she pushed the board at Desilu and NBC to go for a second stab at a pilot. Roddenberry had shown 3 scripts to both production companies for potential pilot episodes. While they had chosen The Cage, another script, titled Where No Man Has Gone Before, was well liked. Using some studio notes, Roddenberry rewrote the script to be turned into a second pilot. One such note was NBC's demand that the character of Number 1 be taken out. There are conflicting stories as to why this demand was made. Roddenberry insisted over the years that it was due to pure sexism, that NBC wouldn't allow the first officer of the ship to be a woman. Other accounts suggest NBC were concerned about nepotism. At the time, Roddenberry and Barrett had begun an affair which several production staff were aware of. Allegedly, this made some at NBC uncomfortable, and this may have factored into their demand to remove the character of Number 1. Whatever the real reason, Roddenberry certainly believed it was a regressive demand, and combated this by deliberately writing in a more racially diverse crew. He cast Nichelle Nichols, whom he had worked with on The Lieutenant, as Communications Officer Nyota Uhura. He also included an Asian character, Hikaru Sulu. Actor George Takei was encouraged to see such a non-stereotypical role being advertised, and successfully landed the part. It cannot be overstated just how important the mere inclusion of these 2 characters was. This was only 2 years after the monumental Civil Rights March on Washington, D.C., led by Martin Luther King Jr. The anger and violence being dealt to African Americans and other non-Caucasian ethnicities was forefront in many minds, and George Takei has often recounted his experiences being unlawfully imprisoned in a Japanese internment camp during World War II, in a chapter of American history many still try to sweep under the rug to this day. Rounding out the cast were DeForest Kelley as Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy. Roddenberry had briefly worked with Kelley on the pilot 333 Montgomery and got along well with the actor. James Doohan joined as engineer Montgomery Scott. The Canadian actor had a talent for accents and voices. It was a mutual decision by both Doohan and Roddenberry to make the character Scottish. As Doohan reasoned, the best engineers in the world are Scottish. When I was younger, I used to think Doohan's accent wasn't very accurate. That is until I found out he based the accent on an Aberdonian radio operator he encountered in World War II. For an attempted Aberdeen accent, it's actually not bad. In fact, Scotty sounds eerily similar to my high school chemistry teacher sometimes. Jeffrey Hunter had chosen not to return for the second pilot. After The Cage was met with a negative response, Hunter was unsure about committing to another pilot for the show and instead chose to pursue other opportunities. The new character of James T. Kirk was created, and Roddenberry's third choice for the role, William Shatner, accepted the part. Where No Man Has Gone Before brings up many interesting ideas just like The Cage did, but it has a brisker pace to its story which makes it a more enjoyable Star Trek yarn. We are introduced to the Enterprise as it attempts to traverse outside the galaxy, coming into contact with a mysterious energy barrier which soon grants godlike superpowers to one of the crew. The episode has a much more optimistic tone than The Cage did. A worn-out ship and captain are replaced with a colourful flagship and charming lead. Funnily enough, it was Shatner's more exaggerated style of acting which prompted Leonard Nimoy to skew closer to the more unemotional Spock we've come to know. While the characterization isn't exactly in line with what Spock would become, Vulcans having a lack of emotion is firmly established here. An additional great performance in this episode is Gary Lockwood as Gary Mitchell, the crew member who becomes endowed with incredible powers. His brief dialogue with Kirk manages to establish a sense of rapport and friendship before the Enterprise encounters the barrier. Afterwards, his rapidly developing abilities and superiority complex turn Mitchell from a friend met with tragedy into a dangerous antagonist. A quirk of this performance results from the thick contact lenses Lockwood had to wear. The only way he was able to wear the lenses comfortably was by tilting his head way back. The resulting change in body language and demeanor enhances the transformation Mitchell is going through. The heady themes of humanity's cosmic evolution are fascinating, if only briefly touched on in this story. Instead, the true focus is on the characters, the relationship between Kirk and his former friend. This gives the episode a stronger emotional core as the audience is given a real relationship to invest in, not to mention more action with the first appearance of Shatner food. While it doesn't explore its themes in as much detail as The Cage, Where No Man Has Gone Before is overall more entertaining and emotionally relatable. With a stronger cast more well established, faster pace and more action, NBC was satisfied with this second pilot, and after a few months, Star Trek as a TV show was finally given the green light. For the TV show proper, Gene Roddenberry brought on several more key creative leads. Joining Herb Solow and Robert Justman, Gene L. Kuhn, a Western producing veteran whose show Wagon Train was directly cited by Oscar Katz in his original pitch, and who would go on to create many of Star Trek's most famous icons, was also brought on. And finally, the key creative voice of Dorothy Fontana, credited as DC Fontana. She had been hired as Roddenberry's secretary during the production of The Lieutenant, and had contributed 8 scripts to various shows under a pseudonym. For Star Trek, she was promoted to chief script editor. The day-to-day production of Star Trek would mostly be handled by Justman and Solow, while Roddenberry, Kuhn and Fontana would contribute most to the storytelling of the series. It was this team which would ensure Star Trek deliver a slew of high-quality stories and deliver them well. Season 1 of Star Trek is easily its strongest, with many of its most acclaimed and most classic stories appearing in its first year. The scripts were strong, often perfectly walking the line between complex sci-fi ideas and pulpy space adventure fun. And while the production values are dated today, the strong design work and colourful effects make it highly pleasing to the eyes. This was in large part thanks to the contributions of Matt Jeffries. Roddenberry first became aware of Jeffries when he viewed the 1957 movie Bombers B-52, on which Jeffries worked as a production designer. The two men had a terrific working relationship and friendship, both sharing a love of engineering. In total, it took Jeffries 2 months to create the design for the USS Enterprise. He reasoned that the engines of the ship would be powerful and potentially dangerous, and after consulting with NASA engineers, settled on a modular design, the saucer section taking inspiration from the flying saucers he had seen in many other sci-fi movies and TV shows. In the event of the engines becoming a danger, Jeffries reasoned that parts of the ship could be jettisoned to keep the crew safe. Indeed, the notion of a saucer separation was originally part of Jeffries' design, many years before it made an appearance on Star Trek The Next Generation. With a NASA consultation establishing the ship as modular, Jeffries brought in a few naval influences for much of the materials, even modelling the layout of the bridge quite closely after real US Navy warships. With these elements combined, and an eye for simple aesthetic beauty, the iconic starship the Enterprise was born. Now, when it comes to choosing episodes to highlight in this video, there are many important ones to choose. There is the Enemy Below inspired battle of wits between the Enterprise and Bird of Prey in the very first appearance of the Romulans, or the introduction of the Klingons in Errand of Mercy. However, being that the purpose of this new video series is to re-examine and improve on my previous videos discussing this franchise, I don't really see a need to come back to these episodes. I've already examined them in detail in my various top 10s and Lore Evolution series, which you can see elsewhere on this channel. So instead, I've decided to discuss episodes which I truly love, but aren't always as widely discussed in Star Trek fandom or in pop culture. Space Seed, for example, will be an episode I'll talk about in depth during my eventual retrospective on the Wrath of Khan. These are episodes I select when I want that quintessential Star Trek experience. And one in particular which I've always come back to for some sci-fi fun is The Squire of Gothos. This was the first instance of what would become a well-worn Star Trek trope, that of godlike alien beings toying with the Enterprise or putting its characters through some kind of trial. In The Squire of Gothos, the Enterprise encounters Trelane, an alien being who has been observing Earth from afar and has become quite a fan. However, due to some time dilation errors, he still believes Earth to be a warlike world and assumes Kirk to be a colonial conqueror of some kind, and delights in goading Kirk into showing his more savage side. The true highlight of the episode is easily William Campbell as Trelane. The actor is clearly having the time of his life in the role. His pure joy in discussing the concepts of war and violence is both amusing and quite sinister. I'd be extremely surprised if John Delancey didn't take inspiration from Campbell in crafting his own mischievous alien Q in Star Trek The Next Generation. It's also in Campbell's performance we get small clues leading up to the final twist. The way he throws temper tantrums and stomps his feet when he doesn't get his way is only made more appropriate when it's revealed Trelane is in fact a petulant child whose playtime has simply gotten out of hand. The way Campbell shifts intonations from a sadistic villain to a spoiled brat is hilarious to watch. The episode is also classic for its themes about human savagery. Kirk's insistence that humanity is no longer the barbaric race Trelane thinks it is concretely establishes the optimistic view of its future. At the same time, the character who relishes violence and warfare the most, turning out to be an irritating child, is a funny lampooning of such a mindset. While The Squire of Gothos isn't among the most profound Star Trek stories, it's certainly one of the most enjoyable romps in the series. However, similar themes brought up in this episode would get a more serious treatment in other episodes which I want to talk about. Arena is an iconic Star Trek episode, and one which is instantly recognizable in pop culture for its climactic Gorn face-off. Though while this scene is often ridiculed as an example of the original series' dated production values, it's actually part of a very strong episode. Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and a few others beam down to a Federation outpost to discover it has been attacked and destroyed by an unknown alien aggressor. After fending off the attackers on the ground, the Enterprise engages the alien craft in hot pursuit, culminating in a showdown with the alien captain. While Star Trek is largely inspired by the ray-gun pulp adventures of the Hugo Gernsback style of science fiction, Arena is surprisingly brutal and gritty in its depiction of the initial alien attack. The chaos, confusion, and trauma of the action is well captured by the script and well conveyed by the cast. What makes the episode so gripping, however, is the choice to keep the aliens unseen for the first confrontation and resulting chase. There's a palpable tension surrounding the mystery of these aliens and Kirk's apparent drive for revenge. That is until both ships are brought to a standstill by another godlike alien race, who set up the one-on-one battle between the two captains. The final reveal of the Gorn captain is actually highly effective. After Kirk has conjured this image of a barbaric attacker, even he seems shocked at the monstrous appearance of his foe. The resulting fight choreography is a little unconvincing, but the chases and traps which follow bring back that tension as Kirk realizes how truly outmatched he is. Only thanks to his intelligence and ingenuity is Kirk able to take down the Gorn, but just as he's about to strike, decides to let his foe live. Despite the Gorn's monstrous appearance and actions, Kirk realizes it too is an intelligent creature who possibly cares quite deeply for its own crew and its own people. Thus, the godlike aliens, the Metrons, decide to let both captains and both crews continue on, convinced they are not as inherently savage as they both first seem. It's perhaps a little contrived, but it's anchored by a strong performance from Shatner, who manages to convey his anger and determination over the attack on the outpost, but without breaking into his often parodied overacting. Much of his actions are based on assumptions and speculations, which we later find out to be unfounded. It's a strong script which examines the more savage side of human nature, something which is also examined in A Taste of Armageddon sees the Enterprise attempt to establish diplomatic relations with a planet which has been at war for over 3 centuries. However, upon arrival, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy are confused to see no evidence of any prolonged war. It's soon discovered that this war is fought entirely with computers. All attacks are simulated, but the casualties are rendered real via disintegration machines, which inhabitants of the planet are expected to enter if they are simulated as being caught in an attack. When the Enterprise is registered as being destroyed, Kirk decides to bring the entire system down. It's an absurd premise, I'll give you that, which stretches the allegory to near breaking point. But the absurdity is part of what makes its themes and messages all the more impactful. The idea of a peaceful cooperation is seen as so impossible by these two worlds that they have deemed this system of a simulated war more reasonable. The episode is also noteworthy for a blatant violation of the Prime Directive, which forbids Starfleet from interfering with the internal development of other cultures. But this is an episode which harkens back to the pulpy ray gun fights and fisticuffs, while still delivering a positive social message. It may be a little daft, but it's one of the stronger examples of the wagon train format the show often went back to. Just as the titular wagon train of that show would journey to a new town and become embroiled in the ongoing affairs of that populace, so too did the Enterprise become a key trigger for change and tragedy to many planets it visited throughout its first season. As Season 1 drew to a close, Nichelle Nichols was feeling unsure about continuing with the show. Despite the importance of her casting, she and George Takei were rarely given much agency in the show, instead relegated to background supporting roles in each story while Kirk, Spock and McCoy took center stage. Since the debut episode, many of the cast had been receiving letters from avid fans of the show, writing to their favourite characters in the series. Leonard Nimoy received the most following his performance in The Naked Time. Nichols, however, believed she was receiving none, until she discovered NBC execs had ordered all of her letters to be withheld. While no explanation has been given for this, Nichols believed this order had racist intentions, which is not hard to believe. While performing in Star Trek, Nichols had also received several offers from musical theatre productions, which Nichols had a background in. Seeing prejudice from her current job and opportunities elsewhere, Nichols decided to leave the show. She handed in her letter of resignation to Gene Roddenberry. Roddenberry, shocked at this decision, asked Nichols to take the weekend, and if she still felt the same by the following Monday, he would accept the resignation. What happened next was truly a stranger-than-fiction event.
I believe it was an NAACP fundraiser, but it might not have been, but I think it was. And so I went to do this on that Saturday night, and I had just been taken to the dais and sat down when the organizer came over and said, Miss Nichols, how are you, and da-da-da. And he said, listen, there's someone here who said he is your biggest fan, and he's looking cherubby, you know, and he said, and he's desperate to meet you. He really wants to meet you. So I said, certainly, and I stand up and turn, and I'm thinking, it's a Star Trek fan. He said, it's a Star Trek fan. I'm looking for a young man who's a Star Trek fan. I turn, and instead of fan, there's this face the world knows with this beautiful smile on it. And I remember thinking, whoever that fan is going to have to wait, because Dr. Martin Luther King, my leader, is walking toward me, not 10 feet away, with a beautiful smile on his face. And then this man says, yes, Miss Nichols, I am that fan. I am your best fan, your greatest fan. And my family are your greatest fan. He said, we admire you greatly, you know. And he said some more things, and the manner in which you created this role has dignity and so forth. And he said, you know, and before he said, I said, Dr. King, thank you so much. And then I got the courage to say, I really am going to miss my co-stars. And he said, what do you mean? Dead serious. What are you talking about? I said, well, I had an offer. He said, you cannot. And I said, well, I'm going to leave Star Trek because I am going to say have an offer to star in I never got that far. I said, well, I'm leaving Star Trek. He said, you cannot. You cannot. And I felt like that little boy Willis. What you talking about, Dr. But you know I didn't say that. He said, for the first time on television, we will be seen as we should be seen every day. As intelligent, quality, beautiful people who can sing, dance, but who can go into space, who can be lawyers, who can be teachers, who can be professors, who are in this day, and yet you don't see it on television until now. Whatever happened come Monday morning, I went to Gene, and I'm not sure to this day if I knew what I was going to say. And I told him what happened. And I said, if you still want me to stay, I'll stay. I have to. And he took out my resignation, which was torn into 100 pieces, and handed me the pile. And we just stood there looking at each other. And I finally said, thank you, Gene. And he said, thank you, Nichelle.
Despite the high quality of its first season, Roddenberry knew Star Trek would likely be cancelled due to its middling ratings at best. Anticipating the bad news, Roddenberry helped organize a massive letter-writing campaign from fans of the show, asking NBC to renew it for a second season. This campaign was enormously successful. NBC allegedly received more fan mail about Star Trek than any other show they had running at the time. Some fans even went so far as to picket the fences of NBC studios to show their support. It was this campaign which played a major role in NBC commissioning a second season, but so too did demographics. For those unfamiliar with how TV Nielsen ratings work, the success of a show doesn't solely depend on the amount of viewers. This used to be the case where ratings were measured per household. However, during the late 60s, this began to change with the introduction of demographics, age and gender brackets, etc. As many TV networks depend on selling commercial advertising slots for revenue, the most desirable demographic for advertisers, and therefore for networks, was and still is the 18 to 35 bracket. While Star Trek wasn't scoring high overall ratings, it was scoring very well in this particular demographic, and so had the potential to be very profitable for the network. Also thanks to the letter-writing campaign, NBC was aware that many Star Trek fans were teachers, scientists, engineers, and other accomplished individuals. This gave the show a sense of prestige in terms of who was watching. These two factors motivated NBC to give Star Trek yet another chance, and renewed it for a second season. Season 2 isn't quite as good as Season 1, but still contains many great outings for the show. With a slightly reduced budget, it loses a little bit of the wagon train format. Less alien cultures and less location shooting, but still a strong season overall. Season 2 saw the introduction of Ensign Pavel Chekhov, played by Walter Koenig. The character was originally created to fill in for Sulu while George Takei was off filming The Green Berets. The character was intended to appeal to a younger female audience, even styling his hair to resemble Davy Jones from the Monkees. He was at first meant to be a native Englishman, though by this point in time, the USSR was badly beating the USA in the space race. So Roddenberry decided to make the character Russian, further emphasizing his vision of a united and cooperative humanity. As a young ensign, Chekhov is quite naive and passionate, getting easily swept up in romances or rising to the threats of bullish Klingons. Arguably, he had a lot more personality and stronger material than George Takei's Sulu. The season premiere, Amok Time, is a true classic of Star Trek. The crew become alarmed when Spock begins acting emotional and even violent. When McCoy discovers a chemical imbalance which threatens Spock's life, Kirk demands an explanation from Spock. He subsequently reveals that he has entered his Pon Farr, a physical condition which Vulcans enter into every 7 years, which drives them to return home and find a mate. Against orders, Kirk chooses to save his friend and returns to the Vulcan homeworld. Most episodes surrounding Spock are terrific stories, such as Season 1's The Galileo 7. As mentioned previously, Spock became an extremely popular character for his emotional complexity, and according to some fans, was quite the sex symbol. So a Spock-focused episode where he is emotionally unstable and in need of a mate virtually guaranteed an overwhelmingly positive fan reception. It's a great character-driven story. Rather than an entire planet or the Federation being at stake, the central concern is for Spock and his relationships with the Enterprise crew. It's also the first for many iconic elements in Star Trek. This is of course the first appearance of Pon Farr, but it's also the first time the phrases live long and prosper and peace and long life were said. It's also the first appearance of the Vulcan salute, which was actually created by Leonard Nimoy, drawing inspiration from a Jewish ceremony he once witnessed as a child. Overall, it's a strong season premiere which fans no doubt celebrated after their favourite show was almost taken off the air for good. Luckily, more great episodes kept coming. The Doomsday Machine is one such great episode. The Enterprise investigates a star system which has been reduced to rubble by an alien machine which originated from outside the galaxy. In its wake of destruction, it has also left the USS Constellation and its commanding officer, Commodore Matthew Decker, a wreck. After Kirk and Scotty become trapped in the Constellation, Decker sees fit to take command of the Enterprise to exact revenge on the powerful Doomsday Machine. This is a classic Moby Dick allegory, which Star Trek will come back to many times. Guest star William Wyndham gives a brilliant performance, a man utterly broken by the horror he has witnessed. Not just from the machine itself, but from his own actions which inadvertently led to the death of his entire crew. Much of the episode consists of Decker throwing the Enterprise at the machine again and again in a desperate attempt to destroy it. Meanwhile, Kirk and Scotty work tirelessly to eventually regain control of their own starship before it's destroyed. It's an action-packed episode filled with extreme tension and tragedy. The simplicity of the overall plot allows the focus to remain on the characters, with only speculations as to the origins of this machine. But thus far, Amok Time and the Doomsday Machine are famously strong episodes from the original series. The next episode I want to highlight isn't as well renowned, but in my opinion, really should be. The Ultimate Computer is one of the first instances of Star Trek really grappling with the concept of artificial intelligence. However, rather than the far-reaching implications of what it means to be human, how sentience is defined, and other similar themes brought up in the likes of Blade Runner or Battlestar Galactica, the Ultimate Computer tackles a far older theme. Dr. Richard Daystrom boards the Enterprise to outfit it with the M5, an advanced tactical computer system which Daystrom hopes could one day completely automate ship operations so that no more crew members need die in deep space. However, the notion of his position as captain becoming obsolete is deeply troubling to Kirk. As with most sci-fi stories featuring AI, the M5 eventually malfunctions when it uses live weapons during a wargames exercise, murdering hundreds on the opposing Starfleet ships. The themes of the episode spin off into many avenues. The automation debate is one which remains highly relevant to this day, yet there is also the theme of exploration versus merely acquiring knowledge. The act of human beings journeying into space to see the cosmos for themselves brings with it scientific knowledge, yes, but there's also an emotional component to it as well.
Are you only interested in scientific discovery? Send robots. It's cheaper. You don't have to bring them home. You don't have to feed them, at least not food. They'll need energy from somewhere. Get it from the sun. If you only care about science, then there's no rational reason to send humans, really. For the cost of sending a human, you can send 100 robots. And robots are getting better, smaller, cheaper, faster, smarter, all of the above. But here's the catch. I've never seen a ticker tape parade for a robot. I've never seen a high school named after a robot. I never saw a kid read a book about a robot and say, gee, I want to be that robot one day. There's value of human inspiration. It's less tangible than the scientific results of an experiment. It's more emotional, it's more philosophical, it's more cultural, it's more human.
However, just like with the Doomsday Machine, this episode features a fantastic guest star, William Marshall, lots of Williams in this show, as Dr. Daystrom. Once again, this was pretty groundbreaking casting for an African American to play such a role. It's the classic tale of hubris, as Daystrom refuses to believe the M5 could have any flaws. But what I personally find fascinating is the revelation that the M5 has had Daystrom's own engrams imprinted on its systems in order to help form its operational matrix. Essentially, the machine itself has much of Daystrom's own mind within it. Thus, the failure of the M5 in the story is not strictly the result of machines being inferior to humans, but instead is a result of human fallacies impacting a machine. The episode successfully replicates the terrific sense of tension and brutality seen in Doomsday Machine as the Enterprise crew watch helplessly as their fellow Starfleet officers are slaughtered by their own ship. The ending is a bit of a cop-out, I'll admit, with Kirk catching the M5 in a logical loophole which ultimately leads to its shutdown. Despite this flaw, however, the Ultimate Computer is an episode
let me look at the rules on the website.
More often by Trek fandom. What is often assumed to be a mad scientist / killer machine story is a lot richer on closer examination. A strange quirk of Season 2 of Star Trek is the presence of several parallel Earth stories. These are stories in which the Enterprise encounters an alien world which resembles some historical period from Earth for some contrived reason. Sometimes it's due to cultural contamination, someone from Earth manipulating an alien world. Other times it's pure chance that this world evolved along almost the exact same path as Earth did, which is pretty silly. Season 2 features several of these stories. The only really fun one is a piece of the action in which an alien world has modeled its society after Prohibition-era gangsters. It's a ridiculous idea, but thankfully the episode doesn't take itself very seriously, instead reveling in the fun of Captain Kirk donning a
Cheating,
striped
footage
suit
requirements
and brandishing
platform,
a Tommy gun with an
patches,
over-the-top
mods,
New
and
York
tools.
accent. Other episodes unfortunately take the concept too seriously to mixed results. Patterns of Force gives us a Federation cultural expert who somehow believed modeling an alien world on Nazi Germany was a good idea. The Omega Glory depicts a post-nuclear world so exactly like the feared result of the Cold War, right down to both sides being called Yanks.
I think they might have
got
got that might be an antiquated rule that they don't have anymore. Maybe I'm not sure though. But I'm gonna keep going.
Roman Empire which lasted into the 20th century technology level. It's likely these stories were a cost-saving measure, an excuse to reuse props and costumes already in storage, and shoot on standing sets at various backlots, rather than expensive location shooting. While none of these mentioned stories are awful by any means, they were an unfortunate indicator of where the show would end up. During the run of Season 2, Star Trek was successfully renewed for a third season, which would ultimately prove to be its last. Once again, the budget was slashed, ensuring virtually no location shooting for any episodes, which severely limited the scope of many stories. This season featured some of the worst episodes of the show, such as the Paradise Syndrome, which showcases insulting tropes about Native Americans, as well as Turnabout Intruder, an outright sexist episode at worst, and an awkward, unpleasant story at best. Many other infamous examples such as The Way to Eden, and The Children Shall Lead, and Plato's Stepchildren, which is outright embarrassing. This massive step down in quality can be largely attributed to the big changes happening behind the scenes. Gene Roddenberry, Gene L. Kuhn, Robert Justman, Herb Solow, and DC Fontana had been the driving force behind the show's strong production and storytelling. However, by Season 3, Kuhn, Justman, and Solow all left the show either before or during the season due to the exhaustion brought on by the grueling schedule. DC Fontana had found other work writing for other shows, but still contributed 3 more scripts to Season 3, which included the Enterprise incident, one of the stronger outings for the season. Even Gene Roddenberry had become weary of the demanding job, and so took on a less active role. Producer Fred Freeberger was brought on to effectively be the new showrunner, but without that core creative team, and with a much smaller budget, he had an extremely tough task ahead of him. Over the years, however, many cast and crew have blamed the poor quality of the season on studio meddling. For Season 3, NBC moved Star Trek to a Friday night slot at 10 PM, the exact time its valuable young audience would be out socializing with friends after a week of work and study. Indeed, this time slot is also the same slot which Joss Whedon's Firefly ended up in, and has often been named as the time slot of death, even to this day. It's quite possible NBC saw Star Trek as simply too much trouble for its worth. While it did score well with a valuable demographic, its overall ratings had been falling since Season 1. On top of this, the fierce letter-writing campaigns constantly made Star Trek a fixture of boardroom meetings. It's been estimated that the studio was spending almost $100,000 a year simply replying to the mountain of letters they were receiving about Star Trek, as it was an internal policy at NBC to reply to as much fan mail as possible. So it isn't unlikely certain executives decided to try and get the show cancelled, so they would never have to hear about it anymore. Unlike Season 2, Season 3 opens with a truly embarrassing addition to Star Trek canon, Spock's brain. While exploring space, the Enterprise is boarded by an alien woman who promptly knocks the crew unconscious. When they come to, they discover that Spock's brain has been stolen, and so Kirk takes the Enterprise on a fierce race against time to retrieve his brain and restore it to his body. Star Trek certainly has some outlandish concepts, but this is an absolutely ridiculous premise for an episode. There are certain constants in any universe, sci-fi or otherwise, and the efforts this episode goes to make this idea sound plausible are backbreaking. But beyond the central premise, the rest of the episode is easily some of Star Trek's weakest writing, full of worn-out cliches and poorly thought-out plot points. For those curious, myself and two friends actually did a commentary of sorts on another channel of mine, where we react to all the worst and most unintentionally hilarious parts of this episode.
Oh, man, no, that's
I like Spock's new nifty headgear.
Yes, it looks like a pharaoh. There's a mind, mate. This is fucking rubbish.
Link will be down below. Either way, Spock's brain remains one of the worst episodes in all of Star Trek. Its only valuable is in providing inadvertent comedy for its audience. That being said, Season 3 isn't totally bereft of good stories. There's the aforementioned Enterprise incident, as well as the debut appearance of the Tholians in the Tholian Web. But this time, I wanted to highlight an episode which is a little controversial in terms of quality, Spectre of the Gun. When the Enterprise intrudes into alien space, Kirk, Spock, Bones, Scotty, and Chekhov are whisked away to a strange recreation of the Old West town Tombstone, where they are pitted against Doc Holliday and his gang in their famous standoff. It's a real head-scratcher of a setup as to the exact reasons the alien intelligence has done this, but the scenario plays out in a compelling way. There is a bizarre dreamlike, or rather nightmarish quality to the place the crew have found themselves in, with the half-constructed western town and oppressive blood-red sky. Along with its heavy atmosphere, the episode has a truly gripping sense of rising tension as Kirk and co try desperately to avoid the impending confrontation. They try leaving the town, telling the locals what's really happening, constructing a gas grenade to tip the odds.
This is how much faster it was to just sit there with the AK and kill them instead of the M14.
Clever or
Yeah, round 44 took like, round 43 took like 25-30 minutes with the M14, and that just took like 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, but that's still a long fucking time. That's a long time. Maybe like 5 minutes, but still, yeah. Only a few more of those, and I'm gonna get the no power record. 55. 55.
It's a clever resolution. The dreamlike atmosphere I mentioned before already enhances much of the episode, so it's a nice twist when the atmosphere ends up being a plot point in itself. A fresh take on humans evolving beyond savage violence, as previously seen in Arena. Unfortunately, by this point, the spark was gone. Even the fans who managed to stay in and watch were growing increasingly let down by the subpar stories being presented to them each week. The already mediocre at best ratings cratered. With its key demographic gone, and remaining viewers no longer happy with the show's quality, NBC finally decided the time had come and cancelled Star Trek. The last episode of Star Trek was broadcast on June 3rd, 1969. And for all anyone knew at the time, that was it. Star Trek was over forever. Roddenberry and the remaining creative staff moved on to new projects, landing writing and producing gigs elsewhere. Most of the cast were able to find reliable work on the stage and screen. They were happy to move on from a show which they believed had never achieved hit status and which had lost its audience. But of course, as the world knows, the story of Star Trek was far from over. Thank you so much for watching, guys. This video was a hell of a lot of work, as you can imagine. I'll be doing more retrospectives in this style for every other Star Trek installment, right up until Star Trek Beyond. So subscribe to make sure you see those when they come out. If you like what I do and want to help me grow the channel, you can support me on Patreon, where you can see videos early. I've also recently started a YouTube membership program, which also allows you to see videos early and grants you custom emojis such as the Data on Acid. Both platforms also have access to new behind-the-scenes videos I'll be making soon if you're keen on that. Special thanks to all of my patrons and members who are now appearing on screen. Have a good one, and as always, live long and prosper. In 1969, the last episode of Star Trek had aired, and the show had been cancelled. Despite the show having built up a passionate and loyal fan base, its overall viewing figures and troublesome behind-the-scenes antics led distributor NBC to discontinue the show. Its creative team and cast had moved on to other projects. They were happy to leave what they saw as a good series which unfortunately had never achieved the success it perhaps deserved. Going into the 70s, however, few were expecting the name Star Trek to come back into the popular consciousness. Against all the odds, however, it did just that. In part 1 of this series, we mentioned how Star Trek as a series was owned by Desilu Productions and filmed at their studios. However, 7 years as sole owner and CEO, Lucille Ball, who had co-founded the studio, sold the company to Gulf Western, a large conglomerate which at the time had also recently acquired Paramount Pictures. Desilu Productions was then renamed Paramount Television. During the first season of Star Trek, syndication rights were picked up by Kaiser Broadcasting, with its vice president Richard Block apparently being quite the fan. Although shows at the time usually required 4 seasons of episodes for syndication, the rights were already purchased before cancellation, and so Kaiser Broadcasting began rerunning several episodes on local city stations. While NBC had doomed the show to the 10 PM Friday night time slot of death, Kaiser Broadcasting gave the show a much more suitable weekday evening slot of 6 PM, effective counter-programming while other large networks ran their news programs. This deal paid off in droves and ratings were strong, prompting other stations to purchase the syndication rights for themselves. By the early 1970s, Star Trek not only reclaimed its original audience, but amassed millions more new fans. It quickly became one of Paramount Television's most profitable shows, scoring high ratings across the USA and even in other countries. It had gone from a financial flop to a cult hit. The original fanbase eventually attended the very first Star Trek convention in New York City in January of 1972. After this, the term Trekkies, coined by science fiction editor Arthur W. Saha, rose in use to refer to the dedicated and often ridiculed fans. The rise in popularity led to the commission of Star Trek the Animated Series in 1973, which saw several unused scripts from the original show repurposed for animated installments. The early 70s also saw a slew of Star Trek toys and merchandise released. While the Mego Corporation did produce a line of well-received action figures, some merchandise from other companies were a little ridiculous, such as the infamous Star Trek helmet. Quite impressively, however, the widespread passion around Star Trek eventually led to the very first NASA space shuttle being renamed from Constitution to Enterprise, thanks once again to a fierce letter-writing campaign from Trekkies, this time not to a network executive, but to the President of the United States, Gerald Ford. Roddenberry and the cast of Star Trek attended the shuttle's first rollout ceremony, with its new name adorning the side. As Star Trek's popularity continued to rise, the concept of a Star Trek movie entered development. The idea of a Star Trek movie was first proposed by Gene Roddenberry as early as 1968, when the original show was still airing, during the World Science Fiction Convention. Spurred on by the enthusiastic fan campaigns which successfully got the show renewed for a second season, Roddenberry proposed a prequel which would tell the story of how the Enterprise crew met for the first time. This, however, never got off the ground. By 1975, however, Star Trek was a valuable commodity for Paramount, and so Roddenberry was given the chance to return to the franchise and develop a feature film. Roddenberry's first idea was a story he titled The God Thing. The story followed a now Admiral Kirk who reassembles his old crew when a godlike alien entity many miles across is seen hurtling towards the Earth. The entity would eventually be revealed as an artificial intelligence sent from another dimension, which Kirk would eventually return back to its home, and the Enterprise would resume exploring space for further adventures. The initial script, however, wasn't well received by Paramount, and they fielded ideas from other creatives, such as acclaimed science fiction author Ray Bradbury, Theodore Sturgeon, and Harlan Ellison, who had previously penned the Star Trek episode City on the Edge of Forever, often regarded as one of the very best of the original show. Ellison's script featured a reptilian race attempting to interfere with Earth history by creating a hybrid species which would supplant humanity. Allegedly, when a Paramount executive compared his idea to Chariots of the Gods, Ellison was enraged and withdrew from the project. Another idea from writers Robert Silverberg and John D. F. Black saw a black hole which threatened to consume all of existence. Roddenberry then teamed up with writer John Povil and proposed the idea of the Enterprise crew correcting an altered universe using time travel. Both ideas were rejected by Paramount. As more ideas continued to be thought up and rejected, a massive list of names was given over to Paramount to source potential writers and directors who could handle the project. Among these names were Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg. While hindsight
What?
is 2020,
Oh my god, I just took the dumbest fucking down.
Lucas was mostly known for THX 1138, and Spielberg
I
was
just
yet
popped
to
my
make
little
a
gum
Jaws
and it didn't
or
work,
Close
and then
Encounters of the
I
Third
just
Kind.
died and nothing
After
happened.
dozens of concept
fuck, that's the end
ideas,
of the game.
eventually
I'm
one
not sitting
proposal
around
did
shooting
begin
them with
building
just
steam.
no
Writers
perks.
Chris Bryant
Fuck.
and Alan Scott's
That's dumb
20-page
as fuck.
treatment entitled Planet of the Titans, to be directed by Philip Kaufman, who would later go on to direct the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which featured Leonard Nimoy opposite Donald Sutherland. Planet of the Titans would see the Enterprise crew encounter a mythical and powerful alien race, and eventually travel back millions of years and kick off humanity's own evolution. This film was said to have some truly far-out ideas, toying with the concept of the Third Eye and other New Age movement elements. At one point in development, Kaufman wrote a version of the script with Spock as the main character, with a Klingon arch-nemesis to be played by the legendary Toshiro Mifune. As a big fan of Akira Kurosawa movies, this concept certainly sounds cool to me at least. Two key concept artists were also brought onto the project, famed James Bond production designer Ken Adam and Ralph McQuarrie, who at the time had just completed concept art for Star Wars. Together they developed a number of designs and concept, including a refitted Enterprise with a flat triangular drive section, something which later inspired the design of the Crossfield class starship in Star Trek Discovery. Despite initial progress, however, script difficulties caused the project to stall once again. After years of development, Paramount decided to cancel their Star Trek movie,
Hold on, I'm biased.
3 months before the release of Star Wars. Instead,
I don't need
executive
your
Barry
attitude.
Diller convinced Roddenberry to restart development of a new Star Trek as a TV show entitled Star Trek Phase 2. It was to be the flagship show of a new Paramount television network. Producer Harold Livingston, who would later go on to work on several Star Trek TV shows, was brought on to assemble the show's writer's room. Of the cast, only Leonard Nimoy refused to return for fear of typecasting. A new, younger Vulcan character named Zon was created, played by Daniel Gautreau. For a new first officer,